Good morning, students. So today we're going to look at a pretty, important topic in business economics called pricing policy. Let's get right into it. Okay, pricing policy is a critical aspect of business strategy. Companies must determine the optimal price, to generate their revenue and profit. Okay. So I'll explain you pretty directly. So there are different types of companies. Some companies use products to make. Some companies need raw materials to make their products. Some companies give services out. You know, so there are different types of companies, and all that companies are trying to do is make a profit out of their selling. Okay, so pricing policy is a critical aspect. So if a company wants to thrive in this economy, they have to set the selling price at a correct nominal price, so they can both get a profit out of it and also make sure that they are relevant in the market. Okay, so that is to determine the optimal price. So in this pricing policy, we look into three major types: cost based pricing, demand based pricing, and competition based pricing. Let's get right into it. Okay, first is we're going to look at cost-based pricing. It's a pricing method that involves calculating cost based on the product or service and adding a markup to arrive at a selling price. This markup is basically the expenses of the company. So cost-based pricing is used by company that produce physical goods. So basically, a company that produces physical goods, they want to, they have this cost price. They can calculate the cost price easily. So it is basically the inclusion of their raw materials price, logistics price, overheads, middleman. So there are a lot of cost that comes along when you produce a physical good. So when you add a certain amount to more than this cumulative cost price, we can get to a profit available selling price. Now there are few types in this type of strategy. Let's look into it. First type is called cost plus pricing. It's a pretty straightforward pricing strategy in cost plus pricing. I mean, in a cost based pricing. Okay. So in this type, you add a markup or profit margin to the cost. So basically, like I said, you just add a little bit more to the cost price and arrive at a selling price, which gives you a net profit. Let's look into a real life example. So, so before that, students, I'll let you know that in all this, all these three major types, there are further int types that comes along with these three major types. In all those int types, I'll be giving you a straightforward real life example to understand it easily. Okay, so let's look into the first real life example. Okay, imagine a bakery that sells cakes. So determine this price. What do? We calculate the cost of ingredients, labor, and overhead required to make the cake. So you look into the ingredients, then overhead and the labor. So when you add all these three things, you get the cost price, and then you add a small margin to it. You arrive at the selling price. You arrive at the final price. So this is called cost plus pricing. The next type is called. No, just give me a moment. Okay. Next type is called. Let me erase it. Okay. Yeah, okay. So the next price is called break-even pricing. Break-even pricing is a type of cost-based pricing strategy where you have the total cost that is required, but then you don't try to arrive at a profit, but rather arrive to break even. Okay, you arrive at break even. Let's look at a real life example. Imagine a small business that sells handmade jewelry. Okay. So when you look into the cost that requires materials, labor, marketing, rent, and other expenses. But when they try to sell this jewelry, the business owner would set the price jewelry at a rate covers all these costs but does not result in a profit or loss. So they're just trying to break even. So by the name of the types, we can know that's called break even. So they are just trying to break even into the price, but they're not really looking into get a profit or loss. They're just trying to break even. So this is a type of break-even pricing and cost-based pricing strategy. Now we look at the two types of cost-based pricing strategy. Now we are looking to the next strategy, demand-based pricing strategy. Okay, this demand-based pricing strategy it considers market demand, customer behavior, and competition when setting prices. So they set the price depending upon the demand, customer, and competition. But this method is mostly used only by the service-based business. And I'll tell you why it is that case. Why only service-based business can only use this strategy. In our further example shown in the three major types in this demand-based pricing strategy. The first type is called price skimming. So in this, a company has an initial asset so high, okay, sorry, so high that only customers with more purchasing power can afford the product. After that, the company gradually reduced the price. Let's wait, just give me a moment. Let's look into the real life example. Imagine a new video game console that is released. Let's take an example of PS4 or earlier PlayStation kind of thing. Okay. So it's only one kind. It's only one of its kind on the market. So the company makes the console set high price. Only people who are eager to buy will buy it. As time goes on, many competitors will enter the market. Okay, and then the demand for the first console, the first released, like in our example, the PlayStation, the demand decreases. So the company reduces the price. Okay, so initially when there is no other competition, uh, the, the company which releases the first console sets the price so high with high confidence that people will buy it. Okay, so when there is a competition, the demand decreases, the price decreases. This is called price gaming. The next type is called price penetration. This type of demand strategy is company sets low price, okay, when it's first introduced to quickly gain market share. Okay, so let's look into a real life example. Imagine new brand of smartphone, okay, that is introduced. So initially what they will do, they will try to have a low price for them. After they know the customers are more likely to try a new product if it's affordable. They'll say our new product has this new amazing, product gives this feature at a low cost. So everyone will try to buy it and then they will tell others, it will spread of word of mouth. Everyone will tell this new product is really amazing. Okay, after when all get to know how amazing this product is and then the demand grows, the company increases the price. Okay, so the increase in price is in accordance with the market average. When they release their product, their price will be lower than the market average. When the demand increase, they'll increase the price to equate to the market average, which means they won't lose the crowd because people will understand the feature. So it is accordance with the feature, the price is increasing. This is called price penetration. The last type in demand-based strategy is called price discrimination. In this, the price is based upon how much the customer is willing to pay. Okay, but this is why I told you why this type of pricing strategy is more in accordance with the company that produces services. Yeah. In this, there are three types of price discrimination: perfect price, second degree, and third degree. We'll look into the real life example. Okay, imagine a movie theater. Okay, a movie theater offers different types of ticket prices. Okay, they produce ticket price for adults differently and for children and seniors in different money. Okay, the goal is to capture maximum amount of people that is coming to their theater. In theater, they're giving a service. What is a service? A movie. Okay, for that movie, they really don't need to, you know, make people to give the same amount of money to watch, but rather they just need to acquire a maximum amount of crowd. Okay, so depending upon whether if it's adults, okay, are coming or children are coming. If adults are coming, they are willing to pay more usually, and children and seniors might not be able to fulfill the price. So according to the customer, how much a customer is willing to pay, the price, selling price of the product or the service will be given. So these are the three types which comes under demand-based pricing strategy. Now let's look into the last pricing strategy called competition-based pricing strategy. In this pricing strategy, the selling price depends upon competition and the market average. Okay, so the major difference between this and the previous pricing strategy is in this type of strategy, the company that makes use of this pricing strategy is those which want to stay relevant in the market. if they are not relevant with the market அப்படின்னா they'll the other companies will fight and will get the places. So in that cases they'll try to charge either higher, close or lower than the average competitor to stay relevant. Okay. Now, and so the company's first task is to gather and research information to know how what price they need to keep. There is four types in this strategy. First one is called parity pricing. In this type, competitive based pricing strategy, in the sets is price based on price of its competitive. The goal is to stay competitive, like I told you, to avoid losing customers to stay competitive. Is so when that is needed, this type in the competitive based strategy is used. Okay. So imagine two gas stations get across the street from each other. If one gas lower its price, customer are likely to go to that gas price. So to avoid losing customer, the other gas station may lower their price. So depending upon how what the other competition is trying to keep their price, the other company tries to be relevant. This is called parity pricing. The next type is called discount pricing. It's a type of pricing strategy, competitive based pricing strategy. Offer a product or service at lower price than its competitors. The goal of discount pricing is to attract customers away from competition and gain market share. In this type of strategy is basically used by a company where they want to, you know, get where they are new to the market, so they want to gain a market share, so as to attract customers away from their competitors. They sell their product at a discounted price. Imagine two clothing stores, okay, located at the same shopping mall. So if one store offers a discount, customers are likely to attracted to that store and make a purchase there. To stay competitive, other store may offer a similar discount. Okay, so the both companies will be fighting back and forth, trying to set up discount. So customers will come to their store and not to the other store. So they'll be going to and fro on setting their prices. So they'll come to a median point on having a period of time where they both of them have the same discount, so that equal amount of people go to each shops. This is called discount pricing. The third type is called premium pricing. The premium pricing is a type of strategy, competitive based pricing strategy, higher than its competitor. The goal of premium pricing is to create a perception. Okay, this is a really a niche type of pricing strategy where even though there is a market average, the people will try to make a price more than this market average, so as to make a false positive of higher quality and exclusivity, and to direct customers who are willing to pay more for those attributes. Two hotels at the same city, but one hotel has a reputation for being very high end. We charge a high price room, and customers who are seeking luxury and exclusivity are willing to pay for more for it. The last type is called tender pricing. In this, a project or contract by submitting a price proposal. The core of tender pricing is to win a contract by offering the lowest price while still ensuring a reasonable profit margin. Imagine a construction company. Okay, many construction based company will try to bid. Okay, but each other doesn't know how much tender they'll be proposing. So each company will outline the cost, plan ahead and then propose a tender. So whichever the company offers a lower price will likely to be get the tender. So this is the final type of competitive based pricing strategy. Okay, guys. So we have looked into so we have understood, you know, how the pricing policy. Let me get to the first slide. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So the pricing policy, how it works, how companies tries to change the price depending upon their demand, customers, and then trying to stay in the market average. So we have looked at the three types called cost based, demand based, and competition based, and why this and which companies use this. Okay, so I hope everyone have understood this concept. So I am ending the meet here. Thank you.